Okay. Uh, நீ சொல்லு நான் ரெக்கார்டிங் ஆரம்பிச்சிடுறேன். So shall I start recording? Right. Cool. Hmm. Uh, oh wait, Akhil, give me 1 second. Now on I forgot to change one small setting here. I will just do that right now. Yeah. Window தான் கேப்சர் பண்றேன். ஸ்க்ரீன கேப்சர் பண்ணல. So yeah. Uh, whoops. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Okay. Cool. Shall I start? Alright. யாராவது வந்திருக்காங்களா லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமுக்கு இன்னும்? Or alright, cool. Alright. Hi guys. Welcome to everyone who's attending the live stream today. I'm Naimish, and today's session will be looking at the basics of HTML and CSS. So before we continue, just a small announcement here. Feel free to join the Discord channel and unmute yourself and ask questions whenever you have any doubts. Let's try and keep the session as interactive as possible. All right. And at the same time, if you have any doubts, put it in the YouTube chat as well. Feel free to put it in the YouTube chat. We have Shaktidharan who is moderating the chat today, and he will uh, relay the messages on to me, and I'll try my level best to clear them. All right. If everyone who's watching the session can acknowledge this message either by joining the Discord channel or by writing something in the text window, please do so. Yeah. Has like, is anyone watching the stream? Like, have anyone acknowledged the secondary? Has everyone understood the instructions so far? Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. 1 second. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sure. All right then. All right. We'll just start the session then. Cool. So yeah. So we're going to be looking at the basics of HTML and CSS. But before we get to the basics, we'll have to understand how the web works, right? So the topics we'll be looking at today are web fundamentals, the basics of HTML, which includes text, image, and link formatting, and HTML tables. And we'll also be looking at the very, very basics of CSS, like using selectors, properties, grouping, etc. Yeah, cool. All right. All right. So let's get started with the web fundamentals first. All right. So what are the main components of like the internet? We have the web browser, we have the client, and we have the server. Who is the client, who is the server, and what is the web browser? If anyone wants to answer these questions, feel free to drop your answers in the chat window below. Again, for all of the people who are joining the live stream just now, feel free to drop your understanding about client, browser, and server in the chat box below. Or if you want to like talk to me and interact person to person, feel free to join the Discord server link, which I'm assuming Shaktidharan has shared, and join the voice channel and unmute yourselves. Cool. All right. So if we all can see this infographic right here, we can see that this is us, the client. This is the browser and this is the server. So basically, when each time we type in a URL into the browser window, what happens is the browser sends a request to a web server, and then the server sends the data back to the browser, and then we, the client, look at the data. All right. So this is pretty much how the internet works. We request for a resource from the server, and the server sends the resource back to us, and the browser is the intermediary between us and the web server. What is a server? A server is just another computer out there, like sitting in some rack, and it just relays whatever data is requested of it back to the browser for the client to consume. All right. Akhil, give me 1 minute. I'll be back now. For that, someone had like back to where we left off. So we have the client, we have the browser, we have the server. We know, and so now we know how the where the information comes from and what to do with this. So continuing with that, let us now look at let us now break down the URL. All right.
Yeah, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, Nagnish. I think there's a small technical issue, and Akhilas asked for a minute here.
All
No,
right. All right. I'll wait.
yeah. I'm sorry. Now it's fine.
வசதியா போச்சு கதவு தட்டினப்போ டெக்னிக்கல் இஷ்யூ ஆயிடுச்சு.
Okay, fine.
Right.
Okay, and now it's
Yeah.
fine. Now let's continue.
All right. Cool. So now, whenever we open the browser, we enter in a URL, right? And that is how we, like, if you enter a URL into the browser, you get a website. So so what the URL exactly does is the browser looks at the URL, it looks at, and it splits it up into these corresponding segments. All right. We have the scheme, we have the host, we have the path, and if there are some queries, we have queries as well. So with this new information, the browser requests data from the server, and the server also sends it back to the browser. So what is a request? Yeah, what is a request? If anyone wants to tell me what a request is, drop it down in the chat. Or feel free to join the Discord channel as well, Discord server as well, and ask your questions there in the corresponding channel. All right. So basically, a request is what we do to get data from the server. Like if you want something, you ask for it, right? So basically, that's just what a request is. So unlike us, computers cannot speak any human languages. So like let's say I want to ask Shakti Dharan for pen in the exam hall. All right. So if I want it, all I'll do is I'll silently like tap on his table or something and like do the sign for pen and try to get it from him. That works in an exam hall, but unfortunately, the browser and the server do not speak sign language. So So people like us came up with rules to ask for data from the server, right? Because server does not speak human. So what does a request contain? So they forwarded a request such that it contains the following data. It has a verb like get, post, put, delete, and these names are like these titles are indicative of what their roles are. Like get na it gets data, post na it sends data, put na it puts it, delete na deletes an element. HTTP protocol version, HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, and the version we're using. All right. So HTTP version, protocol version, path on the server, like we saw over here, path, and if there is like host name, obviously host name over here, and if there's anything, if there's any other optional content, like say we have a form request or any other queries which we want to give to the server, that is also specified right down here. So if we want to go to alpinejs.code with hugo.com and we want to search for something, we'll have that parameter down here, back there. All right. So I hope everyone's understood what a HTTP request consists of and how it is sent. So after the HTTP request, we get the response, obviously. Because if I ask Shakti for a... So coming back to my example of Shakti Dharan and I in the exam hall, if I ask Shakti for a pen, he will either he can give me one of three responses, right? He will either give me a pen, or he won't give me a pen, or he'll tell me that he can't give me the pen, right? So if he gives me the pen, that is a success. If he cannot find the pen, that is sad for me. But there's also another option. He can say, I'm not allowed to give you the pen because invigilators don't like people talking to each other. So in that case, he'll send me a forbidden response back. That is what these three status codes are. If Shakti is successfully able to give me a pen, he'll say 200 and give me the pen. If he cannot find the pen, he'll just throw 404 at me. I'm pretty sure all of us have seen the 404 message like on websites. And if he has the pen, but he's not allowed, but he's afraid of the examiner, if he's afraid of the invigilator and says he won't give it to me, he sends me a forbidden response. That is pretty much exactly how a server and a browser work. All right. Optional headers to give more information like content length, cache control, etc. And optional content like HTML or JSON. So if we want to display a website, I can get the HTML data for the website back. Or if I want some JSON stuff, I'll get JSON stuff, like if we're working with APIs here. So now that we've gotten a response from the server, and we know that the response contains HTML because we're looking at HTML today. Obviously, it will contain HTML. With that HTML data, what can we do with it? We construct a website. So what is a website? A website is just content presented to us through a web browser, right? So how do we present the content to us on the web browser? We do so by following the rules of the web browser. And the language of the web browser is done through HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML provides a website with structure and the semantics. That is, it tells you where what needs to go. CSS makes things look sexy. Like the sole purpose of CSS is to make things look good. JavaScript makes things interactive because static websites are not that fun anymore. So in today's session, we'll be looking at HTML and CSS, and next week we'll be looking at JavaScript. All right. Is everyone with me right now? Akhil, lag evlo? Delay evloda live stream? Evlo seconds? More than 10 na? Okay, so there's no point in me asking questions then, right?
Exactly. You can move on.
All right, cool. I hope everyone's understood this so far. Due to the lag differences, I don't think we'll be able to do question and answers effectively, but sure, we'll continue with we'll work with what we have. Right. So there was this famous guy called Thomas Mann. He said, order and simplification are the first steps towards the mastery of a subject. Now, the subject we're looking at today is web fundamentals. How do we master it? He says through order and simplification. Order and simplification are provided to us through HTML. So what we're going to look at now is HTML. Alright. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. If you remember, just a few minutes ago, we were looking at this weird protocol known as the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So, hypertext, there's a connection there somewhere. Feel free to read up on it, and if you get an answer for what the connection is, drop it in the chat. Right. Moving on. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is just a text file which is marked up with tags, and it is saved with the HTML extension. Like how we store notes with the .txt extension, we store a Word document with the .doc or docx extension, and we have images, JPEG, PNG, etc., etc. Similarly, HTML pages are saved with the HTML extension. Right. HTML is the native language of the web browsers, but if you tell people that HTML is a programming language, people might not agree with you. Why? That is another question you can discuss with us in the chat or on the Discord server. All right. Moving on. Wait, 1 second. If you see over here, whoops, sorry, my bad. So, HTML, the document, is just filled with tags. All right. So, but how do tags work? What is the structure of a tag? A tag has a name, it has an attribute, it has a value, and it has some content inside it. This is like HTML is just this. It is filled up with thousands and thousands of tags. It is just this. This is like the fundamental part of an HTML page. An analogy here can be drawn to how the atom used to be the fundamental building block of an element of a compound. Similarly, a tagline is a fundamental building block of a website. And just like how atoms can be divided into protons, electrons, and sometimes neutrons, we can also like yeet stuff into a tag through the form of content and its attributes. All right. So, moving on. What are we going to do now? We are going to look at some HTML code. All right. Before I jump in and start showing everyone the codes, I like it would be appreciated if you also opened out a text editor on your own device. It can be Notepad for all I care, and also code stuff along while things are being discussed. That would be appreciated. If you want, I can wait for 1 minute for everyone to get the text editors open. Akhil, or 1 minute wait பண்ணலாமா? Yeah. Right. I don't know if 1 minute has passed. I have very poor perception of time, but I'm assuming enough time has passed for people to open Notepad. All right. So now that that is done, let us open up a text editor of our choice. It can be Notepad or it can be whatever. Wait, font chinnada irukko. Wait, I'll just increase the font size 1 second. Is this font large enough? Mobile verify பண்ணிட்டியா இந்த சைஸ் பத்துறதான்ட்டு இல்லனா? Yeah, sure. All right. Cool. இன்னொரு +1 போட்டிருக்கேன். We'll roll with this font for now. This is not how I normally look at things. I am not blind, but for the sake of the live stream, things are at this very, very enlarged font. All right. I hope everyone can see this clearly. Now, cool. So, what is an HTML? Like, how do you structure an HTML file? So basically, all we do is so this is a comment. All right. Wait, I'll just show you how a comment works. So this is a comment. Whatever we write inside this will be ignored by the browser. We can write whatever we want in here. For example, I can write I can write hello everyone in this, and the browser will not will just ignore this line while rendering the web page. All right. So this is a comment. Now, why I've typed up different code sections, and I will comment. I'll uncomment them and explain them like while we're throughout the session, because writing stuff while simultaneously explaining things is hard. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now, one sec. Whoops. I will just close this. எங்க open ஆகுது? Yeah. Mm. Uh, uh, fucking fuck. 1 second. Whoops. Right. So this is a skeletal structure of what do we call this? Uh, right. Let's call this foo.html. Right. So this is where a website starts. All right. Uh, hmm. So the first line says that the document is going to be of type HTML. This will tell the browser that this is an HTML document. And then all the HTML stuff is going to be present inside these two tags. Now, if you remember the syntax right here, 1 second. Yeah, if you remember this slide right here, yeah, we have tag name, attribute is equal to value, and content, and then slash tag name. Now, if we compare this to this, we have tag name. This has no attributes though, and it and the value inside this is going to be the entire website. All right. So let's start off with the basic head tag. All right. Right. Let us not link style sheets for now, for sanity's sake, and we'll start with this. We have a document. Head is a tag. Meta char set is equal to UTF-8, and then we have this title tag. So let's break this down like using common sense. Intuitively, uh, uh, intuitively from the word title, we can kind of assume that whatever is inside this title tag, whatever is inside this title tag should be the title of the website, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? Hmm. Similarly, we have this meta tag. Meta is not a meta reference. It is we have the meta tag, and then right next to it we have char set is equal to UTF-8. Now char set is character set for char set is just character set, and UTF-8 is a type of encoding for strings. And this is just metadata for the website. Now we take the title, and this actually follows a rule: tag name attribute is equal to value. It doesn't have any content inside it though, and neither is this tag closed. But this is one of those weird tags which is not closed in the website, right? Moving on, we have the title slide. Title does not have any fancy appendages to it, but it has content inside it, and the titles tag is closed down here. Now, if we bust this website out and look at what it has to offer, we can see that foo.html opens as whoops. Wait, why is this empty? Any ideas why this is empty? It's because we didn't write anything. Right. All we did was we said that head is gonna have the name title of the website, and exactly like how we typed it out over here. Head title of the website. Head head's title is title of the website. This is pretty much how all tags work, right? Uh, Continuing with this, let us look at a couple of basic HTML tags. Some typical HTML. So I'll comment this out for now. Let's not get involved with style sheets for now. Uh, right? See, so this is just another website, all right? This is just another website with document type HTML, and the HTML stuff starts over here. Head has the character set UTF-8. Title is called foobar. Why? Because it's just a placeholder name. Now that we've seen the head over here, this is the body, like this whole canvas right here, right? This is the body. Now let's look, and we want things to be inside the body because yeah, because we want to see things on the website. So what do we do now? We can actually write whatever we want down here in the body. For example, I can say I can say Akhil is amazing right here, and if I save it, it will it'll be reflected down here on the website. Whoops. Hmm. See, Akhil is OG, content go burr. We'll ignore all of these things down below for now. And whoops. Yeah. So whatever is inside the body tag, like body tag opens over here, and we close it way down here. And after the body tag, there's nothing else on the website either. So we can say with absolute certainty that whatever we see on the website over here, right? Whatever we see on the website over here is just stuff inside the body tag. Now let's break down these things one at a time. Right. So the thing about HTML is it isn't it. Most people don't consider it to be a very strict language for the sole reason that it just does this. Right? You can write whatever you want, like with absolute disregard for the tags. Like you don't need to put it inside other tags, and it will be rendered anyway. Why is this so? If you look at this rule over here, we have tag name content and then tag name close, right? We have tag name, we have content, and tag is being closed way down here. So everything inside this body is going to be rendered. That is why the content gober is the first line on the website. All right. So after that, we have heading tags, right? H1 is the largest tag we have, and H6 is the smallest tag we have. We also have like numbers in between, like H2, H3, H4, and H5. We can just like change the thing right here to H2, and we'll make this a little bit bigger to H4. And you see this right here right now, and you see this right now. The big boy and small boy are, big boy is currently at 1, small boy is currently at 6. If we refresh, big boy becomes smaller and small boy becomes bigger. So basically, by just jerry rigging around with these different tag parameters, you can adjust the size of your tag. Alright. Now, this is a heading tag. Now, headings are fine, but we also want paragraphs as well. So how do you do that? You yeet a paragraph inside p tags, and that is how you get paragraphs. Now, one way of doing things is by just throwing the entire paragraph inside a single line. That is not necessarily an efficient way of doing things, but it is a way of doing things nonetheless. If you do that, you get a paragraph that looks like this. You see this huge paragraph? The whole paragraph is just rendered as a chunk, and it goes till the end of the page. This is the normal paragraph tag, which just throws stuff onto the website. You can also like break between paragraphs. You can also like break between paragraphs using the line break tag, the BR tag. Now, you might have noticed that the BR tag does not have a corresponding closing tag, and it doesn't have any content after it. That is because we don't need to worry about it. All the break tag does is it breaks. It creates a line break, as you can see. Line break. Wait 1 second. So, lorem ipsum dollar sit amet constructor whatever adpsing elit. After this, we've thrown in a break tag over here, right? That gets reflected over here. The line breaks right here, and then the stuff after it gets yeeted into the next line. Now, similarly, you can like just put in breaks wherever you want to, and it'll be rendered out like that. It'll be rendered out appropriately. Now, ideally, here in a world with zero lag, we would I would ask you to try this tag out on your notepad. So let us assume that there is no lag for now, and I'll give you 30 seconds, 40 seconds to mess around with these tags, right? With the doc type HTML tag, the HTML tag, head tag, title tag, and body tag with a couple of paragraphs and headings. Like just mess around with it, save it, like hit Control S, open it, and you should see your own corresponding website. If you make anything fancy, like feel free to share it over on Discord, or yeah, if you have any doubts with this, ask it in the chat section down below. I will wait for 30 seconds, assuming that there is no lag. Although I know that there is lag, and we'll just see where things go from there. Akhil, 15-second lag irukda.
Yeah, Akhil is AFK for a while. Like he'll be back.
Alright. Shakti, there's a 15-second lag. So do I just proceed by just explaining the rest of the content on this site? Or?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take it. Okay.
Yeah,
What they said? What is character UTF?
Right. எங்க போயிடுச்சு right. Yeah. It is not character UTF, it is character set UTF-8. So, what? All right, Sanjay. Lorem ipsum does not have a shortcut in VS Code. As for what UTF-8 is, like I don't know if there's a shortcut for lorem ipsum in VS Code. I just copied it from this one site. Like there's a site called ipsum generator, lipsum, and it has lorem ipsum. So yeah, I copied it from here. As for what Snehit asked, what is char set UTF-8? UTF-8 is it is a character encoding type. All right. So back in the days when computers were first being invented, people realized that you need a standard for displaying letters everywhere, like on all computers. So for that, we like people somewhere in USA came up with this. UTF is a subset of the Unicode standard. Again, it isn't entirely relevant to the session, but feel free to read upon it. There's this guy called Tom Scott on YouTube. He's done an extensive video explaining the nitty-gritty details of it. Right. Coming back to where was I? Yeah. Right. Right. I hope everyone has had sufficient time to mess with the H and P tags. We'll be moving on to lists now. So, what is a list? A list is just a list, right? I hope all of us know what lists are. There are two types of lists, right? There's an unordered list and there is an ordered list. An unordered list is just a list of bullet points, and an ordered list is a list with numbers. So, how do we do this? How do we throw lists onto a screen? It's actually pretty easy. So you unordered L list. So unordered list of items, and and you throw each element inside its corresponding tags. So first element is inside a li tag, and the second element is also inside another li tag. That's it. Similarly, you have ordered list. OL is for ordered list. And yeah, you can look at the tooltip reference too. Like you can look at the tooltip and it will give you a very understandable explanation for what each either does. Right. So what does this look like on the website? Looks pretty reasonable. This is an unordered list. I'm an unordered list of element one, uh, element two of an unordered list, and this is an ordered list. All right. So this is how you throw lists onto a web page. Now, another thing you can do is you can italicize information and you can bold in it. How do we do that? That is also again pretty simple. You emphasize stuff or throw them into italics by using the M tag, EM, and you can make things bold by wrapping things inside the strong tags. Right. And yeah, that is for text formatting. And as for throwing images and links, a href is the link, and image source img space src image with source this url, and you give it an alternative text and you give it its height over here. So these are the two tags we're looking at right now. Let's take the link tag first. All right. So why do we have an underscore blank statement over here? So what this underscore blank statement does is it ensures that when I click Google over here, it opens in another tab. It doesn't open in the same tab. Now, if I wanted to open in the same tab, what I do is I get rid of this. I get rid of this. I do a Control S. I do a reload. I open this, and it opens up in the same website. Now, uh, usually we don't want things opening up in the same website because we want people to stay on our website as long as possible rather than going on to other websites, which is why we usually have the target is equal to blank parameter over here. All right. So now, I hope everyone's understood how links work, and after that, we're looking at throwing images in here. Image. This is the image tag source, like where the image comes from. This is a URL because I'm using the Google logo over here. I don't have, like, instead of having to download it and then like reference it from here, I am just pulling it directly from Google Images, and we're displaying it over here. Now there's this extra parameter called height over here, right? Using this height tab, we can we can like adjust the height. We can adjust the size of the image. So currently it's 50. We see what it's like at 50. It's like small. I can make it big by saying go to like 200 and refresh. It became big. Now, one thing to note here is that images are not vector images. So if you're gonna make an image larger, you will get a lot of blurring over here. As we can see, the image is extremely pixelated. But again, like this is a low resolution image anyway. So if we go down to 25, the image will appear a little bit more sharper. All right. So that's that. And a couple of other things here is you can also like jump from one reference to another inside the same website. Like by right. What were the rules again? Yeah. So tag name attribute is equal to value content, right? So tag name reference is equal to, here we're giving the value of chapter 1. Now this is a reference indicator, as we saw over here with the images. Now what this does is it sends it when we click on like this first chapter, which is wrapped up inside the link tag. What it does is it takes us to the corresponding element which has an ID of chapter 1. Does that make sense? All right, that's a delay in the live chat. I keep forgetting that. All right. So I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, type it out in the chat or join the Discord call, and Shakti will relay the message on to me. Right. So H1 ID is equal to chapter, and we have the chapter 1 text encapsulated inside this tag. So what does this do? If we look at this over here, when I click jump to the first chapter, it brings me down to the first chapter, right? Another thing I could also do is So I'm down here, right? I can't see I am a big boy. So what I can do is, if I want to jump to big boy, jump to big boy. Where is it? Jump to big boy. Jump to big boy. Chapter biggie. Right. And எங்க போய் தொலைஞ்சது? I'm page 2 id equal uh, yeah, refresh, jump to big boy, it brings me up here. As you can see, it ensures that big boy is the first line we're seeing, because we have stuff above big boy as well, but it doesn't show that. I can't see big boy now. I click jump to big boy, it sets it such that big boy is the first line that is being rendered on the screen. Now that should ideally like give you an inspiration of sorts to help you understand how you can use internal links and external links inside your HTML pages. And feel free to give it a shot on your text editor. I'll wait for like 10-15 seconds before moving on. And if you have any doubts, drop it down in the chat. I think it's been 15 seconds. I suck at counting time. Despite there being a clock up right up here, I forgot to keep track of it. That aside, coming back to continuing with what we were looking at. Now, we've looked at links and we've looked at bullet points and lists. So now let's look at tables, all right? So, yeah. So tables are tables. Like all of us know what tables are, I hope. Like I'm not talking about physical tables, the one which we write on. I'm talking about tables like in spreadsheets. Or the ones which we used to draw in our records, like back when labs were a thing in college. Now, HTML table. I throw an h2 tag. I call it table. Now I initialize the table with the open table command. Table row, element, and then we end the row. Then we go to the next row. We throw stuff inside it. Element. Head, content, and then we close the row as well. Again, like this, we just create a table of a couple of interesting, a couple of like not exactly interesting, but with some data, and that gives us this table. Now I can change it around. Like I can say Germany. Let's call this place USA. I can call this place USA, and voila, Germany should not exist anymore. See, country is now USA. You can do this with your own tables as well. Feel free to make your own table and have fun with it. Like, HTML is a very simple language, all right. Like there's not much to worry about here. Now, now that we all have a basic understand, I hope all of us like understand like HTML, how a website is structured. We can look at the next slide. Yeah. All right. Dressing well is a form of good manners. This is what a guy called Tom Ford said. Now, why is this relevant here? We've seen a website like this barely qualifies as a website, but we've seen a website here. It does not look good, and I am damn sure that if you were to accidentally open this website by any for any stupid reason, you will click away immediately, because this looks like one of those pages where you would have links to download viruses from. Now, we don't want people to think our websites are filled with viruses. So what do? Similar to how we dress up decently so that people don't think people in society don't look down on us. We also dress up the website to make it look like it is better than what it actually is. How do we do that? We do that through CSS. How do we do that with CSS? That is another very interesting question. How we do that through CSS is by using these things called selectors and properties, right? So the basic syntax for CSS is you have a selector. My bad. You have a selector, and for each property you give a corresponding value to it. Now there isn't much to see here either. Like, this will be a very, very brief explanation for how selectors, properties, values work, and we shall look at that now, right? uh, so I have a document called I've created a new document called css.css because creativity max. And now let's select the paragraph element. All right, so in this page we have the paragraph element over here, and inside the paragraph element we have text. So what does this do? It selects the paragraph element and applies this condition to it. So we give the text a color. We give a text some color over here. uh, let's give text this color, and then we give background this color. We do fun stuff with the font. We can set the margin, and we can set a border. All right, we can also encapsulate it inside dotted lines, etc. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just see what these small changes do to the website. Now, we've made a CSS document, Tania. We've made a separate CSS document. We've saved the document as well. Now, if I hit refresh, nothing happens. Why? Because the HTML page does not know that there's a style sheet for it to refer to. How do we fix that? We fix that by going to the HTML page. In the head, we link the style sheet. How do we do that? We do that by some programming magic, by saying link relatively a style sheet from here. CSS.css is the name of the thing. Style sheet, because it's a style sheet, cascading style sheets. CSS is what it stands for. And yeah, so now we hit save and hit refresh, and oh my god, look, things actually look half decent now. Now, how did this happen? Why are things like this, right? So let's break this down one line at a time. What we did was we selected every paragraph element, we gave the text this color, and we gave the background this color. Font oblique makes text go slanty, and we've made the font like thick, which is why it's at 30, which is why it looks so huge at 34 px. We can make it smaller by, like, say a factor of 3 and throw it to 10 px. Sans serif is font stuff. Margin 10, border 1. This is pretty irrelevant for now. Hit save, come back, reload the website, watch it shrink. See, it became small. Now this is a little bit too small for our liking, so we might as well just adjust it a little bit. Make it, say, 25. Hope 25 isn't chonky, 25 isn't too chonky, and it looks half decent, right? So we do this. You can throw in dotted lines here and there. If you want 2 dotted lines surrounding the box, look at this. There's a dotted line. The top line is dotted, bottom line is red accent. You can see that over here, like border top dotted, 4 pixels long, 4 pixels thick. Border bottom, 1 pixel solid red color. Now we can make this bottom border a little bit bigger, and we can make this a little bit smaller. You can make that a little bit bigger as well. And if we look at it now, we will have see, dotted line, solid line, text inside it. Now, I know what you're thinking. We were we wanted to make the website look better, but it clearly does not look good, because, like, CSS was supposed to make the website sexy, but it clearly has failed its purpose, because this website also looks very sketchy. Now, how do we fix that? Like, so now we've applied this rule generally on all paragraph tags, right? Now, ideally, we don't want to do that. Ideally, we'd want to select elements by ID or by class or by position. We'll worry about position later. We'd ideally want to select it by element or by ID or by class. Instead of selecting all paragraph tags, we could just select where's the lorem ipsum paragraph? Yeah. Let's call this paragraph the one without breaks. What do we call this? Any ideas? What do you want to call it? All right, chat delay. My bad. I'll just call this ID is equal to chunky. All right, we're calling this chunky. What we're doing is we select chunky, the chunky tag. We select all elements which have the chunky tag. Now, chunky means we're going to have huge as fonts, right? So we take font. We make it big. 25 isn't big enough. We'll make it like 60. We'll make it 60. Why not? Right. We'll make it 60 and we'll change the color of it. We'll change the color such that let's make the color look like not so Big Chunka's color scheme was slightly greenish, if I remember correctly. So Chunky Boy has green text because why not? And we'll give it a healthy dash of we'll give it a healthy background dash of, let's say, what do we give this? We'll give it some rich red because Chunky Boy is gonna be like this. Now, we'll comment this out for now. I'll comment this out. Whoops. Right. Too lazy to fix this, whatever. Yeah. So now, what we're going to do now is we're going to take what this does is it says we'll take the element called chunky. Font size is going to be huge. Font size is going to be big. Background color is going to be this, and text color is going to be this. Now, as you can see over here, brace for impact. Yeah, as we can see here, Chunky Y has like lorem ipsum has become like this with the help of Chunky Y. Now, if we were a little bit smarter and we knew what we were actually doing instead of like just randomly messing around with background color, foreground color, and fonts, we would actually get something which looks half decent, which looks something like which is much more decent. Now, similar to how we've selected this by class right now, like we've selected this element by ID. You can also select elements by class using the dot operator. It works extremely similar to this, so let's not get into that right now. Another thing we can do is selection by position. Now, selection by position will do this over here. I'll uncomment this out. Uncomment, yeah. So, wait. There are a couple of ways of selecting by position, and we'll be looking at two of them right now. Yeah. So the first method is absolute. First method we're going to look at is absolute position. Now, as the name implies, absolute positions are going to be absolute in nature. So, whoops, 1 second. I should probably get rid of this chunky one. Yeah. Yeah. By changing the yeah, right. Lorem ipsum looks better now. For now. Right. So coming back to this, inside the absolute labeling, we have two elements. One says up here and the other one says down here. Position of this is so. Oh yeah. So another way of doing CSS is instead of just putting it inside the separate CSS file and linking the style sheet, we can also do it inline as well, like inside the HTML with inside the tag itself. So using the style operator, we can say position absolute top 10 pixels, right 10 pixels, background color is going to be yellow, text is up here. So what we're doing is basically we're creating an element in the top right corner with the background color yellow. Now we and similarly we're creating another element in the bottom left corner with the color green. We can see that right here. We have alright, already refresh one here. We have up here in the top right, which is yellow in color, and we have a green down here in the bottom left corner of the page. Now, uh, 1 second. Yeah. The reason why it's not exactly at the top right or left corner is because we've offset it by 10 px from each side. Wait, 10 px and 60 px. So it's off by 60 pixels from the left and 10 from the bottom. That is why it's not at the absolute corner. If you want it to be at like the exact extreme corners, we can replace this with 1 for all I care. 1 and the one down here should shift from here to about here. Voila. Upon hitting refresh, it's moved from down here to down here. So this is how we can position things. Like we can position elements with using styles on the website. Now this is one way of doing things, right? Like absolute positions, because we know the reason it's called absolute position is because it is absolute. What I mean to say is, we know where the top right corner is, we know where the bottom left corner is, and we also know like how many like how far from there each thing is going to be. Now, like because we were able to specify 10 pixels from the and 10 pixels from the right, so we know where things are going to be from there, and like according to that we can position things absolutely. Now, another way of doing things is by using the z-axis, right? Oops. Z-index, Z-index, not axis, index, my bad. Anyway, this is fun because using this method we can put things on top of each other. How does this work? Wait, yeah. So what do we have? We have an object at the absolute bottom, 10 pixels from the absolute bottom and 60 pixels from the left, with the background color green, and this is at the bottom. Now we have another element in the absolute bottom, 15 pixels from the bottom and 60 pixels to the left. Now, and we've given a z-index value of 2. Now, without the z-index value, we'll see how it looks, what it looks like without the z-index, and we'll see what it looks like with the z-index. Refresh. See, we have top and we have bottom right on top of each other, right? Now, hit undo, Control S, refresh. Alright. Oh wait, my bad. 1 second. Control X. We'll throw this up here. Control V. Yep. Now you can see bottom has come up and top has come below it. Why was that so? So z-indexing, how it works is, for a position box, the z-index property specifies the stack level of the box in the current stacking context and whether the box establishes a local stacking context. This is fancy words for saying if you have two elements on top of each other, the one with the highest z-index will be on the top and the one with the lowest one will be on the bottom, and you'll be arranging things accordingly. So let's change this color over here from green to blue, right? I call this blue. I know it's not blue, but I'll call it blue for now. We have blue below and green on top of it, right? Now, if I got rid of the z, like we're specifying the z index, we have green on top and purple below it. Now, if I get rid of the z index, what it does is it looks at the page. it sees that the bottom one has been like comes first, and then the top one comes after it. So naturally what it does is it says bottom goes to bottom and top goes on top, and it renders it off like this. We have this right here, it will get inverted right now, watch. Boom. So the top comes on top and bottom comes on the bottom. See, because that is the order in which these things have been declared in the web page, in the HTML page. This is a very very brief introduction of how like Z-index works, and how like absolute positioning also works. And like a couple of basic HTML tags have also been covered here. So now that we've seen all these tags over here, let us look at a live example to see what to see this in action. Let's take the Shastra website. I hope all of us like all of us that are from Shastra here have heard of the infamous Shastra website, and maybe even interacted with it in the past. Now, if we look at the Shastra website, we can see that what did we do here? HTTPS is to www.shastra.edu. This is the URL we're referencing. Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. This is the website. One second. Yeah. So this is me. I do click and URL comes up here. URL is structured according to scheme, host, and there is no extra path we're going to here. We're just going to the home page. So I do click, browser sees this, browser sees me hit enter. While it was loading, it sent wait, inspect element kodta. Shakti, screen the inspect element 3 the Shakti.
Yes, yes, yes. We can see a screen.
Alright, you can see the inspect element.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Alright, cool. We will get to what this magical tool is. Right, I should probably explain that first. So now we have the website over here, right? Now we know that when we did click and the browser sent a request to the server to get the response and to display it for us to see. When I hit shastra.edu, I hit enter. I see it refreshes and we get data again, right? So now we have this fun tool called inspect element. It helps us like look at the code on the website, and it tells us more about stuff on the website as well. So we can like expand the we can go through the code stuff later. First we'll look at network. எங்க போச்சு? Yeah, control R. I hit reload. Right. So as we can see over here, we asked for shastra.edu. We got a document. The size of the document was 747 bytes, and it took 69 milliseconds. Nice. Then we got another resource 1.png, status of 200 OK. Status alright, I forgot to mention status. Status 304 not modified. So we saw up here, right? HTTP request. HTTP response. We get a status code and we get some optional headers and we get optional content. So whoops. Yeah. So request. This is the status. We got 304 not modified. Type of what we got is a document, and the size is 747 bytes transferred over the network. Now, below that, we have 1.png and we have logo.jpg. These are two images which got status code OK, and they've been served from cache. It took 3 milliseconds for these two things to come up to us. Now, this is a basic, very very high level of basic overview of what how the website was fetched to us. So this covers the like when we hit refresh, we sent a request, server sends stuff back, and that has been displayed over here. Now now that we have this, we can look at elements, right? So let's take the head element. We see that Shastra has Right. Give me 1 second. Hey Shakti, collapse all. Open already. Command na. ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? Alright, that aside. So we have the HTML page over here, right? This is what was shared over here. When the Shastra DDU document came, we got this document. Now, is this visible on the screen or should I make this larger? Akhil? Which code? Shastra website code? Right. I'll see how large I can make this. இது கொஞ்சம் ரொம்ப பெருசா இருக்கு. I'll make this a little bit smaller. Yeah. Right. So we see the Shastra website. Oops. Now, by looking at the networks tab, we know that we got a document and we got 2 images. So let's first identify where these 2 images are inside inside this thing. Right. I see image source 1.png. This is what we got here over the network. And where is it? Where is it? It is the first thing in the body. So if we look at the website over here, we can see that the first thing in the body is going to be this image. A keen person might notice that this is not an like someone might wonder, how is this an image? Now, it is an image because I can see open image in new tab option and it loads as this image. All right, so this is an image. This is the first image which was served to us. Now, coming back to this. Yeah. We got an image and inge vandu the CSS stuff has been included in the head of the document. You might notice that we have no title for the head, which is why when we look at the site over here, we do not have any special title, like how when title is foobar and we had foobar appear up there in the title. We don't have that over here because Shastra has not provided a title in their codes, in their head. Now, coming to the body, you have a reference tag. Target is equal to blank, which means it opens in a new tab. Image source png1 1.png, style width 100%, margin 0px auto, which means that the size is going to be automatically adjusted with to occupy the entire width of the screen. We can see that in action by doing this. Hopefully this works. See, image has automatically been resized to fit the screen. Like I can shift it up over here a little bit and this image also automatically resizes it to that orientation. If I throw it up into full screen, it occupies the full thing again up here. Now, next, we have a table, right? Table. This table occupies 50% of the width, and we will collapse this table for now. All right. So where is this table which occupies 50% width? I can hit this. I can select the element over here. If I look at it on the website, I see that before I shifted the mouse over, my bad. Table inga puchu. I can see that. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. So I can see that half of the screen has been covered by this table, and down here it says color is black. Font is 16 pixel times New Roman with 3 pixels padding. We can see that being specified somewhere over here. See, 3 pixels padding. Font 16 has been allotted according to right. Anyway, so now it says call span to Freshers Corner. If we look at this over here, we have Freshers Corner over here, right? And then we have these links down here. Paragraph style has corresponding border at the bottom of 3 pixel and it is going to be dotted. See this over here? Below this paragraph, we have a dotted line down here. and yeah, exactly like how the codes says it is going to be. Similarly, we have all the other elements populating the table, and you have another vertical table, vertical align top width is equal to 50. What this means is, first we kept a table over here, right? 50 like for 50% of the screen we had a table over here. Now we have another table up here, right? Vertically aligning it with the top width is equal to 50%, and then we have other stuff inside that as well. We have like we have orientation for senior batches, which I hope people attended today. The live stream where they told us about the plans they have for us for the next semester. We have all those links down here as well. Now we have another image tag with the Shastra logo down here, which has these style parameters like color. This is going to be its color, background color, width, margin, display, what image is going to be displayed, and what it redirects to. And if we look at it over here, we have another image down here. We have another image. If I click it, it opens the Shastra homepage on a new tab, where these things are a little bit more interactive than they were over here. Now, yeah. Whoops. Yeah. We have another table, and bottom we have one more paragraph with content, and yeah, that's it. So this is a developer console to help us do like design better. For example, I take this element, right, and now I highlight it over this row. If I highlight it over this row, it selected that corresponding element for me, and it also tells me what styles have been applied to it. For example, element style border bottom, this color has been applied. Paragraph has these elements applied on top of it, and it has also inherited the justify text align justify from its parent tag, and it has also um, inherited these table values from its parent tag as well. And then it tells us about margin, border, padding, and element. Like it has 16 px margin, it has no border, it has no padding, and then it has it has no top border, it has bottom border of 3 pixels, that was a dotted line. It has no padding, and then you have the element. You have margin 16 from the top and 16 from the bottom. I hope that makes sense. And that is what this element is. Now, yeah. Ideally, we would have an actual yeah. We have search over here, right? Right. Oh wait. Another way of viewing the page's source is by using Control U. You hit Control U on a page, it opens the page source on a next tab. View source, and this just gives you the basic the HTML code for a page. Inspect element, like Control Shift I in Chrome, it gives you a fancier version of this with the option for layouts, event listeners, etc., DOM properties, etc. These things will be covered in upcoming sessions, like in the subsequent weeks. You also have access to JavaScript console sources. So we have index. Index is like, so the sources tab tells us like over the network we got this type document, right? Document PNG and JPEG. So if we look at this over here in sources, it shows us the document we got, which is the HTML page we saw. It shows us the image we got. It shows us the logo that was loaded as well. Similarly, close this up. Network, we saw how network works, and we can like zone in on like a specific part of the waterfall diagram, and we can see that we can see what is happening over here, right? So yeah. See, if we look at this response, we can see that started it was like when it was like this is how the request like happened. Whoops. Yeah, this is how long we waited this much time for, like we sent the request in this much time. we had to wait this much time to get the response, and then it took this much time for the response to get downloaded. Like all of these things are visible in DevTools, and then you can monitor website performance as well. I've taken a screenshot. Blah blah blah. Yenada
Yes,
after Purana.
yeah, it's 7:80 minutes past
Right.
7 o'clock. Yeah, could you please wind up?
Yeah. Chill. Like with DevTools and all is again not exactly on topic either, so that's fine. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the session for today. I hope I hope you were able to learn something and take something away from it which was useful for you. And yeah, if you have any doubts, feel free to drop it on the community channel and ask questions, like or on like the YouTube comment section as well. Yeah, waterfall. So it is a way of visualizing the. One second. Inspect element in open lurka. I closed inspect element. 1 second. Yep. Right. Ideally, see, Shastra's website, everything is downloaded sequentially, right? You have, oops, uh, yeah. So, uh, தெரியறதா right? So anyway, everything happens here sequentially. Uh, you first have you first queue the connection. You do a DNS lookup, SSL, all of that happens, and then you get the response, right? And this totally took us about 240 milliseconds for the whole thing to happen from when I sent the request till when I got the response. Now, uh, sometimes you have simultaneous requests being sent from the same website to different sources. For example, let's open up Google News, right? Uh, I don't know if this will work. I'm just shooting in the wild right now. If it works, yeah. If it doesn't work, sorry. Uh, Network. I hit Control R. Oops. Yeah, see, we have so many things which are being downloaded, and they're not being downloaded simultaneously. Like things come in and go as and when they feel like it. So to visualize when what is happening, we tend to visualize it through a waterfall graph. A waterfall is just a type of graph. uh, I don't know how much sense that made. If you want to read up more on it, you can look up waterfall graphs wherever, like in other places. Like you can read up on it. Like just Google it and you'll get the answers. If you wanted the better explanation and I was not like clear enough. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Akhil, Shakti, where the other questions are go?
I think
Yeah,
that's it.
chill. All right. Then we'll wrap up the session for today. Thank you for whoever attended the session, and looking forward to seeing you again next week when we'll have a session on JavaScript. Yeah. Yeah.